Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Vantage Point. Woo-hoo! This is our season finale. We are so excited to be here. Show some excitement, Jenny. It's okay, Jenny. It's okay, Jenny. Just to show a little excitement. We are very excited. And of course, you know who the hosts are, Crystal, Jenny, and to my left, Takoya, and I am Jessica Mosley. I am really excited about this show. We're talking about full circle moments. Full circle moments. Have you ever had one? I am going to start off with Takoya.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, I am.
It's pressure.
Because I want to know, have you ever had a full circle moment?
Definitely. And I think I mentioned this on our podcast coming out this month through Wish TV. And but okay, no, seriously. Full circle, yes, definitely. There's been a few. One, because I have this book in front of me, no promo, but hey, it's here. It opens and it starts talking about the press, and press is something I do with young people. It stands for Prayer Reaches Every Single Situation. And we created a whole movement around it. We have college campus clubs. Well, we have clubs on college campuses. We've toured the country, ministering to other young people, blase, blase. We've done a lot of stuff with press. But press came because it was after my second miscarriage. And I was crying out to God. I was broke. The first one was hard. The second one tried to take my breath away. And I remember crying out to God. It was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and just needing His direction. And He put together press. And I thought, okay, that's great. He birthed something out of nothing. Young people have been saved. It's been great. But it wasn't until a little while later when I was sitting in a hospital room with a young lady who's very dear to my heart, and she had just miscarried. And she wanted me there, and I was able to hug her and pray for her and know what to say to her. That I actually began to thank God that I had been through those things. Because He really, I love my young people. I love them. And to be able to know where they are and know what to do, but know you can get through this. And not only get through it, you're going to be fine. God is going to use it. And know it and see it. I looked at God as I was praying for her and thought it was worth it. And for me, that was the conclusion of the matter.
Did you become teary-eyed?
Maybe a little.
I love when I get a little emotional. It just does
Maybe a little.
It does something to me when she becomes
I'm not going to do too much emotion, though. I'm going to change the subject.
I love it. Crystal, Jenny, talk to us about a full circle moment.
Oh, me?
Either or, any, mini, mighty, mo.
Go ahead, Chris.
I think I've had a few full circle moments. I think one of the biggest ones is marriage, divorce, and remarriage to the same man. That is definitely a full circle testimony. That, again, I say this all the time, you don't know where you're at in your test. So until you don't know it's full circle until it becomes full circle.
That's right.
But I think if I focus on that miracle in my life, for those of you who don't know my story, I was married for 12 years and divorced and separated for 6. And I have been remarried to the same man now for 3 years. And within that time frame, I have many testimonies. I have many stories. But I love how God makes things worthwhile. I feel like that for the call and the ministry that God has on my life, there were some experiences that were just necessary.
Yep.
And I even though I would not want to go through any of them again, what I learned, what I gained, the sensitivity, the empathy, made me a better minister. in my opinion. And not only did that full circle testimony, it didn't just impact me. You know, I had no idea how many men, women, young and old, were watching me go through that for different reasons and from different viewpoints. But I'll never forget getting an inbox from a sister, a woman that I don't know. We don't go to the same church. I don't know her outside of Facebook. But she said, I didn't just hear your story, I watched it. And she said, I don't know you. She said, but this is what I heard about you. And I think that being able to talk to her, and not just her, but others, I wouldn't, again, I don't ever want to go through anything like that again. But what I gained out of it outweighed my pain, you know, and to be able to tell somebody, yes, you're going to have a very rough day. You're going to have some rough days, some rough nights, but God's going to walk you through this. And it's different when you say, oh, God can do that. God can do that. But when you have experienced Him heal you from a broken heart that was in so many pieces that nobody but Him could put together, and broken recognizes broken, you know.
Oh my God.
But when you can look at that woman, or even that, I mean, we get to talk to men and women, when you can look at them and you can recognize that broken place, but you're able to say, you know what, it's not always gonna hurt like this. You know, I know it's on the front page today and everybody else has moved on and you're still crying about this, but God ain't forgot about you. And here's how I know He ain't forgot about you. You know, people like proof.
Yep.
Everybody wants to fact check, you know? And I think there's so many ways we could talk about divorce. There's so many ways that we can talk about reconciliation. There's so many ways I can talk about forgiveness now. You
I was
know?
just thinking about all of that. when you were talking, yeah.
And when I learned forgiveness in a whole different way, because a lot of times people want to go into the details, well, what happened? I don't focus on what happened as much as I do the results. Because not everybody, many people have gone through divorce.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, for great reasons, for not so great reasons. But whatever it is, when you go through it, oh man, the forgiveness part really sticks out to me, because people always say, oh, well, you know, he asked you to marry him again, that means you had to forgive him for something. Yes, but let me tell you about this level of forgiveness. God had to forgive me. I had to forgive me. I had to forgive my husband. My husband had to forgive me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just one-sided, or, oh, this did this, or, you know, you have a great testimony, it just has a small hiccup. I don't look at my testimony as a hiccup. I look at, this is the way the Lord took me, and this is what I learned. And I don't believe in being selfish with prayer or victories. I think if I know God hears me when I pray, then I'm taking you in a prayer, I'm taking you in a prayer, I'm taking you, whatever situation you give me, I'm gonna pray, because I've learned that God hears me. We were talking earlier about intercessory prayer, Jennifer and I. I think that's what go through does. You know, it makes you sensitive, it makes you wanna care and pray for people differently. I remember getting a call about a lady, I'm sorry, am I taking everybody's time?
Go ahead, girl.
But I remember getting a call one day that it was a lady who was pregnant and she was considering getting an abortion, right? I had never had an abortion. I had never been in an experience where I wanted to get an abortion, you know? I've had several miscarriages, so to be able to have kids was like, yes, you know? But I remember I didn't know how to pray for her. I don't know why you were I don't know what you were going through that made you want to give up this child, but I did have a child at that time, and I remember going in and I grabbed my oldest daughter and I just held her. And God, teach me how to pray for this woman. And I prayed for her as if, you know, this was me having to make this decision. And that, I'm not the only one that prayed, but that baby is now like 22 years old, you know? I think you have to take your full circle moments and say, God, what do I do with this? How do I give you glory out of this? Because my tears and my pain, they're gonna count for something. And I love how God said, vengeance is mine. God, can we give vengeance with this testimony?
Right.
You know, and that's how I fight.
Oh, that's tough.
Wow.
Go, Jenny.
Oh, sorry. Okay, in 3 minutes, full circle. Let's see. You know, I think if I talk about most recently, grief would be my full circle moment. You know, when I found out my mom passed away, I was at church. And my husband, you know, came and got me and said, you know, your mom's gone. And I'm very emotionally dysfunctional, so I didn't really know what to do with that. And I had never lost anybody close to me, so I didn't know what to do with that. And I went and sat in the bathroom, and somebody came in and they were like, are you okay? And I said, well, my mom just died. And that person started crying. And I thought, oh, okay, so that's what I'm supposed to do. I didn't know what to do. It was just like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know. And, you know, she started hugging me, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm supposed to cry, I'm supposed to hug people. Okay, not sure I'm gonna be able to do that, but okay, I'll try it. But when I went into the sanctuary, I stood in the back, not sure what to do with myself. And somebody it was altar call. Somebody walked up to me and said, can you pray for me? And I thought, no, I need some. But I started praying for her. And whatever I was dealing with just didn't matter. It was whatever and I started praying. And I don't know that God ever heard a prayer of mine. I know he heard that one. But that was the day prayer became my outlet. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I have learned to go to God in prayer when my back's against the wall, and I found strength in prayer every time. Mm-hmm. So every time something happens in my life, prayer is my automatic response to that. It's like, I have to focus. I have to talk to God about that. I have to. And so I remember praying with somebody in that big old long line of prayer people we had the other day. And it was a person that had lost their mom. And the Lord gave me, there's a pain. How do you ask God to heal a pain that's never going to go away? And he said, tell her to bring it to me. Just tell her to bring it to me. And I remember bringing God that pain. Mm-hmm. I knew he couldn't heal it. I knew he wasn't going to take it away. But I took it to him anyway and still felt peace after I left it there. And so prayer has just been my outlet. And anybody I can point back to prayer is my full circle moment. So there's that.
Well, we'll be right back. You're tuned in to The Vantage Point. Did you know that when you are quiet, your voice is missing to God's ears? I know some of us have prayed and we're wondering, how long should I pray about this? Why should I pray if God already knows? How will I know God is answering? And what do I do when I feel like God's not listening? But God is listening for your voice. It's too quiet in this world for the troubles we have. You have to raise your voice, and God wants to hear from you. It's Too Quiet, a book about prayer, is designed to answer your prayer questions and build your faith. Visit presstopray.com. Well, welcome back to The Vantage Point. This is our season finale. And we are talking about full circle moments. You just heard from Crystal, Takoya, Jenny, some powerful things that God has done in their life and what those full circle moments have done to help them help another person along the way. And I think that's what it's always about. Everything you go through is not just for you, it's for somebody else. You know, talking about full circle moments, I like Deborah's Place, a nonprofit of mine that we help everybody, but particularly battered women, children. And when a woman comes in and she says, you know, like one situation where there was an agency that brought a young lady in, and you could just tell that she didn't know if we really, like, yeah, I'm here to help you, but are you really here to help me, you know? And we let her, you know, get the items that she needed and wanted. And I remember when it was time for her to go, I told her, I was like, I want you to know that I've been in your shoes. I lived in the Julian Center. And I just began to tell her what I went through. I know how it is to feel like, okay, these people helping me, but how they looking down on me. Or they might think that I'm less than because I have to, you know, come and get items, or when people would donate clothes and there was a special section I can see it right now in the hallway where they would put the donated clothes, and I always wanted to get first grabs. You know, I just always wanted, and because normally that was where the new ones, if you could get there when they first got there, you were going to get the new clothes. And I was like, I've been embarrassed, I've been humiliated. I know how it is for the agency or wherever because she was sitting in a shelter. And I was telling her, I said, I know how it is for them not to give you seconds when you're hungry, but to be able to look at a me and tell her that was such a full circle moment for me. I have them quite a bit. And I love them because I remember them telling me, it ain't gonna always be like this. Or one day God's gonna use this. I remember Shay, she was telling me when she came to the Julian Center, it was her, Sister Jackie, and make sure we tag Jackie on this so she can know we mention her name. She'll love that. But it was Sister Jackie, Shay, and Sister Ty, and they came in with their ministry, Healing Hearts, in the shelter that I was in, and Shay sat in front of me. I could see it as plain as day. And I'm just as big as I could be with Aaliyah, pregnant with Aaliyah. And she said, God does not waste anything. There is no wasted pain. And I'm telling you, God is blowing my mind. Even for us to now be on another station that's right across the street from the Julian Center that I stayed at. I mean, I remember walking down the street with my stroller, you know, with my daughter, or before I was even had her, going to that McDonald's on 16th and Meridian, and just to be right across the street. It's like when I got in that car and got away from y'all, I had a whole moment. Like, God, you did that. God knows how to, like, I'm not crying, you know, having to go in there. I'm smiling, you know, and it's just how God used it. And he's using it 16 years later. Because I used to be like, wow, you know, because that was when Hurricane Katrina happened. So I was like, I'm in a hurricane myself. You know, it was a hurricane myself. It was right when Hurricane Katrina happened. But to just see how God used it and is using it, it's mind-boggling. I mean, God, you really used the most down time of my life. But he knew that there was this day coming, you know. I don't want to keep talking. So anybody else want to jump in?
I got another one.
Go ahead.
I was thinking about Turning Point itself. Turning Point is our church, and my parents are the pastors. And so when they first started Turning Point, I said I wasn't coming. I was like, I'm not going to that church. I don't care. I was like, we just got done with this choir. My parents have always been very active. So they had a youth choir at TMS, and we traveled the country. We were on Billboard. I mean, we did all that. Then we have camps, and it's just always been people around us. Like, people were always at our house. People were always, that one summer, we had a 3-bedroom house. It was 1,700 square feet. I think we had 20 people there the whole summer. People they just wanted to be there. We weren't rich. We didn't have all that at the time. It was just the spot. And when they started the church, when they said they were going to start a church, I was like, I'm not coming. We just got done with these people. Like, it's just, no, I'm not doing it. And I look around now, and our church is not huge, but it's solid. It's around 400 or 500 on a Sunday morning. And I look, and I'm so grateful, one, that I came to that my brother and I didn't make it hard for them, that we have been there, because I know that's made it easy. Now being a parent in ministry, I understand that when your kids aren't there, that just, and so for us to have supported it and all that, I'm really grateful, because for us, church has always been, it's something we all love, but if we're gonna fight about anything, that's the fight around the Harris, that was the fight around the Harris house. We're arguing about church, so we still do that dinner every Sunday. Well, we should do this, I figured it. That's just, so it's a lot of pressure, and it takes a lot, and you give away a lot. You give away a lot of time, you give away a lot of, I don't know, a lot of moments we could have had. But when I look around and I see different people come through the door who wouldn't have went somewhere else, who really did need a turning point experience, I am so grateful. One, that the Lord didn't let me get away with quitting because I wanted to, or walking out of it. And if I cry, I cry.
Right.
You're the only person that can cry.
I'm like, you gonna make me
I'll
sound
cry every
that.
week.
I messed it up my last
We
week.
need to go back to that Are You Sensitive show and whatever other one we just did.
Right.
I'm sensitive just
I want you to be.
but I'm just grateful. And as I've watched different people come in and testify, I'm so grateful we didn't sabotage building it. Because we definitely could have. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my parents' perseverance in that. So that's just one.
I'm glad for Turning Point too, because I was laying in that cot in that shelter, and I was like, God, I have turned my face to the wall. I didn't even know I was doing something scripturally at the time, but I turned my face to the wall. See, everybody's gonna get sensitive today, but I turned my face to the wall and I said, God, I have a broken heart.
I'm waiting for you to cry.
I don't want to. I'm trying to hold it back. But and within 30 minutes, they announced on the intercom, Healing Hearts Ministry is here. And I knew that was, I knew it. And I was swelled up, and I just waddled on downstairs. I did. And there's Sister Jackie, Ty, and Shay. And now, because you persevered, see, I didn't even know how that stuff was happening. But no, that was so crazy, because I was determined not to come to the camp. I'm like, I'm not going to no camp. They not, just as rebellious as I could be. And then God sent the camp's church to come get me. He did. He sent the camp, because I was like, I'm not going to that. I'm not about to be doing all of that for no 1 week. But God, but you see how he set me up? He set me up. And just to know that, I remember when I first walked in, so they were sitting over there like they were sitting over there by the steps, that little area. And I remember Sister Harris saying, so who invited you? And I was like, told them, and then she was like, well, what church did you have all church? I was like, well, I'm backslidden, but I come from Logan Park. She was like, you do? And then to find out that that's, I was like, Lord, this is a set up, but God knew what I needed. It's just so many full circle moments that we got.
I think this platform to me is a full circle moment. Yeah. Because it had to be at this time of our lives. Yeah. If this had come any sooner, we wouldn't have all these full circle moments. We might not even be prepared to be as transparent to reach out and talk to other women. One of the things that excites me about being a part of this is it is a larger platform to tell somebody else what God can do and what he has done from a real standpoint. We are real women who have real life issues, who serve a real God. And I think sometimes in the church world, we have not seen a lot of transparency. Yeah. But I think the road that he's taken all of us prepared us for this time in our lives. And I think it's come with some maturity, naturally and spiritually, that a few years ago, you know, or even how he knew, okay, you can be going through this and still do this for me, you know. But he also knew, nope, right now you can't approach the city, you can't approach the world, thanks to YouTube, where you're at. But right now, this is the time that somebody else needs to hear. The other Jessicas need to hear from Jessica. The other Takoyas need to hear from Takoya and Jenny, and so on. And this is full circle to me, you know, because he's given us, he trusts us.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I really love what you said on the last segment when you was like, there's some, especially being over women's ministry, you know, there are some experiences that you had to have. Oh. And it's like, when you said that, I was just like, you know, because I couldn't have a nonprofit for battered women. Mm-hmm. You know, had I never, I don't think that you can effectively go, you know, there's some roles that you just be like, I'm not qualified for that. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying, because I remember one time I got in an argument with Takoya, because I was like, Takoya, you know what, such, anyway. But my whole point is, that was a very valid point, because I think even with the role that you're in, you know, in the marriage ministry, not to say that anybody has to be divorced to run it, but you're gonna have people on both spectrums that are gonna be there, and they need to, because if you can't identify with me, I don't want you talking to me. Now, I'm not saying in everything, but I'm saying when it comes to the matters of the heart, true matters of the heart, I gotta know that you've been through the fire, because I need to know that you can carry the, you know, I just want, like you said, God trusts us. I'm getting rambled today, and that's not usually me.
That's not usually you.
Not all the time, jeez.
I think this show does give us that platform for full circle moments. And when I look at some of the things that I know about each one of you individually, you can see how the path, because I've known most of you a really long time, and how the path of your life has actually come around. I would have never thought when I met Takoya she would be over to young people. True. She was off the chain as a young, I'm just kidding.
I'm glad Jenny said it. No. We got stories.
But it's just amazing to see how God, again, continues to be faithful to his word. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's what I see when I think about you guys.
Full circle, full circle, full circle. We all have full circle moments in our lives. My prayer is that for this season that you have enjoyed us. We're coming back with some fresh topics. We're coming back with some guests that you need to hear from. Just a lot of things. The Vantage Point, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next season. God bless.